what fuels me to do what I do is my experience, right? And always, it was something that I didn't feel like I was drawn to do. It was something that I just did. Um, as a child, I've always was like, always on the team of something, the swim team, the cheering team. I was
Wow.
always in community. I always had this sense of wanting to feel belonging to something outside of myself. Little did I know that thing would be service. And as I continue to do that as a youth, I joined like different dance schools. Dancing was something that I can do. So the heart of always giving back and always being in community have always been there. And I come from North Newark, Grafton Avenue projects, one of the most impoverished neighborhoods in Newark, New Jersey. We call it Brick City. And we didn't care about the pissy hallways. We didn't care about the attics in the front. We had community
Wow.
and we had all we needed. And when I come home after my sabbatical, that's what I would call it. Um, it's not even a sabbatical. What am I saying? Like I
Yeah, let's
was
talk
held,
about it.
I was held prisoner
Yeah.
um, for 14 years. So
Mm-hmm.
coming back home, it was like a new start. I had a whole reset moment. And I will talk about that and what that looks like. And that's how I continue to do what I
Well,
do.
no, listen, because I'm so glad that you are willing to be
Mhm,
vulnerable
mhm.
and to share your story because we know that so many of our sisters have ended up in prison,
Mhm.
lo- held captive, being wrapped up into an environment where they're really just being picked off the street,
Right.
targeted. And so to see you sitting here today, looking the way you do, thriving the way you do, loving the way you do, being loved the way you do, sometimes people don't understand that there are ups and downs to the story. They only really get that when they see the movie version, that there's a beginning, middle, and end. And
Right.
there's different things that are ingredients to your story. What I know is that every single thing that I have experienced has made me who I am. No opportunity wasted. So when you talk about, like, as much as you're willing to talk about the opportunity of your life of having this moment happen and then coming out into a world and being able to create a whole new experience for yourself.
Coming to New York City was like Mecca. And I think everyone has like a Christopher Street story. And me being from Jersey, coming to New York, the world was my oyster. I saw people who look like me, talk like me. There was violence, but it was not violence against each other. We were more community. It was how people received us. So it's the same violence that exists today. Um, being in community, I started to do things that I had to survive.
Absolutely.
Right. So we didn't have those things that we have today. We didn't have agencies. There weren't programs that we can go to like we have now. So I did what I needed to do. And one thing that I've learned in my journey is never to apologize for decisions that I made while I was surviving.
Absolutely.
So that journey was hard for me, like being so young, being in prison, and some of the things that stuck out to me the most that I take to this day is like the watches, like this whole ceremonial degradation that happens with the school to prison pipeline that has been happening in marginalized Black communities, right? So let me say that.
Absolutely.
And then being impacted in that way, like it was almost like a rites of passage. Little Jamal just came home, and the whole hood would be happy that they just came home. So it was like this framing in the way that you only had to go there in order to get, to be, somebody
Get
recognizable.
cred almost.
Right, street cred.
Mm-hmm.
However, being in there as a young queer kid was very different. Um, the things that stuck out to me the most was the clocks, like being in dormitories or in cell units where the clock is not working. Right. So just the whole mind fuck of being in a court pen and having to get on this bus, that blue and white bus, shackled, chained, And as you're driving to go back and forth to court, you're seeing the people randomly walking in the street. And that longing of being in New York City while you got this little sandwich, and if you happy and you got family, you got your little commissary with you, and you're going back and forth to court. But it was that whole journey to court, to back home, to the, well, not home, God, back to the prison. And
Mhm.
being able to, like, after a while, you kind of become withdrawn. It's like you really become institutionalized. Where I used to say things like, if I went home and got locked up, or, I went out, I was like, oh, girl, I had a nice run. Like I was back in prison, like prison was home and the streets was a run for me.
Mhm.
And that was how that impacted me being in prison. So those things and wanting to be home, knowing that if they ever gave me a chance, I would never look back.
Mm.
And in 2013, they cracked that shit open and they gave me a chance and I ain't never looked back.